Show and Tell Signature.
Welcome to Show and Tell Signature. This is just some of my favorite people talking about their favorite decks. Today I'm thrilled to be joined by Corey, That TCG Guy, to talk his Zidane Tantalus Thief deck. Corey, thanks for sitting down with me, talking some Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is super fun.
So Zidane is a uncommon from the Final Fantasy set. It's 3 red, white, legendary creature, human, mutant, scout. Mutant, I guess spoilers. Isn't he technically an alien? It's been a while since I've played Final Fantasy 9.
So that is definitely a spoiler for a 25-year-old game. So if you're familiar with the story of Final Fantasy 9, Zidane is basically he's bred to take over the world. So he's not like born or like he wasn't conceived in a typical fashion. He was created as a what they call genome, and that's why Kuja is a genome. His name's like genome sorcerer or something. That's the like label that they were given. So yeah, he's technically not a human or a mutant or either. He's both.
Too funny.
Some lore for you.
Yeah, interesting. It's funny too. I'm curious to see if there's any sort of synergy with all the new Marvel stuff. Mutants coming out, some odd like, oh yeah, he's a mutant too. Anyways, 3/3 creature with a date enters, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it, it gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. Whenever an opponent gains control of a permanent from you create a treasure token. So, pretty cool little commander. I have this, according to Moxfield, has kind of as a bracket 2, so it looks like no game changers, no mass destruction, no extra turns. So sounds like a solid bracket 2 sort of deck. So what is the core plan with this deck? What you're trying to? I mean, I probably can guess from the commander itself. What's the plan with this deck?
Yeah, the plan with this deck, and I'm one of the builders. It's funny. Who was I talking to yesterday? I was talking to Megan from Infinite Tokens yesterday, and she was saying how she builds on a theme and then finds a commander. I'm the opposite. I find the commander, and then I build out from there. And with Zidane, the whole game plan with him is I want to steal all your stuff, but the caveat is I'm going to give it back to you. I'm not going to take it. I have one fling in the deck, because I need, just in case, you never know.
Yeah.
I could gain control of someone's, 100 creature or whatever. And I got to throw it at you. But for the most part, the goal here is to take your things, give them back to you, or give you some of my things that may or may not be beneficial for me. And then just amass a bunch of treasures to drop some beaters, or, there's things like, what's its name? Oh God, how did I forget? Reckless Fireweaver. And I think there's one other creature that cares about when like an artifact enters the battlefield that deals damage to everybody. So I'm either killing you with your own creatures and then giving them back to you after you're dead, or I'm making a bunch of artifacts and hopefully pinging the table for enough damage to be lethal.
Yeah, that's always a fun way to do it. Nice that there's no, a lot of times these theft spells or abilities have kind of a mana value restriction. Zidane, you're getting whatever you want, which is
yep.
And you know what, the haste obviously is nice, but I feel like the lifelink is kind of also a sneaky kind of bonus mode that could really save your butt in a situation that you're not, that
it does,
you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, for sure, because you steal someone's big creature. And, if that leaves them open or whatever, you swing in, you gain some life and get yourself back in the game if you're hurting, or just, put yourself a little bit more far ahead than anybody else. It's definitely not a part that is overlooked in this deck for sure. So,
yeah, for sure. So what drew you, other than I know you're a big, Final Fantasy 9 fan in general, and, a lot of people will agree that after Final Fantasy 6 and 7 and 8, 9 is the best.
Yes,
it's probably up there. I'm a stat 8 apologist. So most people actually think I should put 9 probably higher than a few of those. But just in general, like what flavor, or what kind of drew you to building the deck to begin with?
Yeah, you said I'm a huge Final Fantasy 9 nerd. It was the first PlayStation game I ever played when I was a kid. So the game had a special place in my heart, obviously, just growing up. And I've played it. I probably play through it once a year, I just streamed it on my channel for the first time, so I went from start to finish. It took a little while, but we got there. We finished it. So yeah, just when the Final Fantasy set was released, I made it a goal of mine to build all the Final Fantasy IX commanders. Zidane and Vivi obviously being the two that drew me the most into it. Zidane is probably, I'm probably saying his name wrong. Someone told me I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I think it's Zidane, but I call him, it doesn't matter, whatever. Titus, come at me.
Exactly, right? It's
whatever.
It's you've got like 20 years of just ingrained name pronunciation. So like I think we're not changing it now.
Exactly. But yeah, so, and the other thing with it, not only do I love the character, I mean, I have him tattooed on my, I can't know if you can see it. Green screen. He's somewhere over there. I have him tattooed on my arm. So obviously love the character, but then also with Boros, I'm not huge into Boros because it's always the same theme to me. It's always either equipment or auras or some form of the two put together. But in recent years with things like Aether Drift with the vehicles, Boros Commander I thought was really fun. This put me in a space where it wasn't just about throwing a bunch of equipment on a creature or aura on a creature and doing the whole Voltron thing. So, and I like also the theft, but also giving back aspect of it. Because I feel like with a lot of theft decks, the goal is to steal it and then sacrifice it or kill it or, you know, take it away from you completely. Where this is, you know, and I say this at the table when I sit down, like, I'm going to steal your stuff. I'm going to give it back. I promise you. Just give me a minute. I may swing at you with your creature, but I don't want to kill it. I want you to get your stuff back because I want to get that upside of getting a treasure when I give it back. So that design space I thought was really, really fun to play around in where, again, it wasn't just how many swords can I put on my commander? It was how can I put this puzzle together of stealing your things, hitting you with them, making it beneficial, making treasures, and then pay off for that. So that was the big draw, was trying to find a Boros deck that didn't fit inside the typical Boros box, if you will.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's a fun way to approach a deck building. And like I said, this might be the first and maybe the only theft deck that does not have some sort of, you know, sack outlet built into it, which is, you know, if you're playing around in like, you know, bracket 2, right? This is the new thing is the brackets. I think it's kind of a cool way to play, right? It's not super optimized. It's like, you know, theft. I think a lot of people in general just don't like having their stuff stolen. I think that's just one of those things where it's like a weird, like, primal thing where it's like, oh, you stole my stuff. Like, you are now my mortal enemy. I must go after you. So the fact that, like, for the most part, they'll get it back.
It's funny you say that, though, because people do get, like, primally upset. There's a few games I've played where I'm like, I tell them, like, look, I will give you your stuff back. Don't worry. And I steal their stuff. And the rest of the game was this. One of my friends just like, you're gonna die first. He said to me, like, I hate that you're stealing my commander every turn. Like, that's it. You have to lose. So you're right. There is this primal gut urge of like, I hate that you're stealing my things. I'm gonna kill you. So that is it's a weird place to be in, being that player. So.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's just something as a Magic player, I think a lot of times we kind of get, like, you know, built into us. So, so just some fun notes. I just kind of go over the deck. I like to start with the land count, 36 lands. Yeah. Very responsible land count. I think a lot, you know, I've had a few people on here or low 30s, 36. I feel like is a good number if you want to be able to play the game consistently and without headaches.
Can I let you in? Can I let you in on a secret on my land distribution for all my decks?
Here.
This is insider secrets. I don't know if many people know this, but I'm gonna peek behind the curtain, if you will. I base my land count on what EDHREC tells me is the average land count for decks. I don't do any special research. If I go on EDHREC and it's like, this deck average has 36 lands, I'm like, great, I'm going to do 36 lands and I'll figure the rest out. So yeah, that's the only caveat. Recently, I built Boomy from Avatar, the one that cares about like land creatures. And that one I kind of like toyed with how many to put in versus keep out and what lands and stuff like that. But this is very much like EDHREC said this mount is good. And I say, okay. And I go with that.
You know, EDs are smart. It's smarter than me. It probably knows what it's doing, right? It's unending reckless of knowledge. Like, why would I not believe EDH Rec?
Exactly. Why would I go against the unstoppable force that is EDH Rec?
Yeah, exactly. So, that's good. I mean, I feel like when you're building kind of unique decks, you want to be able to hit your land drops, right? If you're trying some stuff that's a little out there or whatever, having consistent, being able to hit your land drops is. Playing Magic in general, hitting your land drops I think makes the game so much better, right? So much when you can play stuff on curve, it's like a totally different realm versus like, oh, I'm stuck on 2 lands for 5 turns, like can't do anything. I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs. So, building a solid mana base is always a good way to go. And to be perfectly honest, the EDH Rec thing, I think it's a great starting point for a lot of people. For me, I'm not really I'm not a great deck builder, and I think a lot of times like the mana base is something that kind of scares me. I will be using your tip now. I'll be like, oh, that's a good place to start. Like, let's start there and then kind of work our way out.
The charts, the thing with EDH Rec, and I mean, I guess this is a conversation that goes back forever in Magic, but like net decking and using resources of like looking at other people's decks to kind of build it. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that at all. I know there's like a negative connotation to that deck building philosophy. Because I mean, there are brewers out there that this is what they do. They sit down and they come up with the ideas themselves, which is excellent. My brain, I'm pushing 40. My brain can't fathom that. Like I don't have the brain capacity to do all that. So I think for me, what I do is I have my commander. So with this one, it was Zidane. I knew there were cards like Humble Defector and all the gain control of a target thing till end of turn cards. There were some that came in the Final Fantasy set. So I knew the general pieces that were going to go into it. And then I use EDH Rec to go in and I fill out the gaps from there. I try to get as much as I can from my own brain put in there. And then, I found out things like, is an artifact, Halithian Rope. I had no idea existed, which is a thing that's an artifact that you can tap to like either draw a card or look for a land and pass it to the player to your left. Like I had no idea that, and that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be giving people these things. So, finding those weird fringe cards on EDH Rec or any resource is great. So that's how I do it. That's how I build around these things.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's a better feeling than when you're building a deck with kind of a particular theme, and you go and you find like 2 or 3 cards. Maybe they're not super. I love it when they're like maybe like 30 cents, $1, maybe $2. Yeah, but they're kind of really right. You've never heard of them before. You're like, oh no, this fits exactly with what I want to do in this deck, and you get those in. Like that's one of those feelings where like yeah, this is what like deck building and playing Magic is all about. It's like kind of funny these, especially when it comes to Commander and EDH. That's the juice. Like that's what makes it really kind of like worth putting your time into.
Yeah, and this deck wasn't that expensive to put all together either. That was the thing too with it. Like, having an uncommon commander that does a weird thing that not a lot of people really dip their. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I shouldn't say that not a lot of people. I don't know if a lot of people build theft decks and things like that. But there's a lot of cards in this deck that are just kind of like meh cards in most other decks. Unless you're diving deep into stealing things, like how many people are playing Hijack, how many people are playing Act of Treason, like there's not a ton. So a lot of the cards in this deck were fairly cheap. I mean, I had most of them already in my piles and piles of cards in my closet. You can't see over the left here, but the things that I needed to get weren't crazy expensive to pick up. So
it's also nice when you're not spending. I mean, I think those the bulk diamonds in the rough are always kind of a fun. Like, oh, this is everything I need right here. Like, I don't even gotta gotta wait 3 weeks for a single to show up. And big difference. So so just some fun cards I saw that kind of speaking on that point. I'm gonna ruin this name. Alexios Deimos of Cosmos from the Assassin's Creed. 3 in a red for 4/4 trample, human berserker. When they attack each combat able can't be sacrificed and can't attack its owner. And at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player gains control of Alexios. Alexios, I think that's right. Untaps it. Alexios. Counter, and it gains haste until end of turn. So this card, and you kind of mentioned Hithlian Rope. Not only you're stealing stuff, but you're giving stuff away. You're a generous commander. Yeah. You're spreading the love around. But so this is one of those cards, 4/4 trample, haste can't attack you and it's going around the turn. Like that's kind of one of those like cards like for it's less than $1. You know what I mean? I think I feel like the Assassin's Creed set was one of those ones that, given its release and how it was kind of put out in the set itself, it may not have been as popular. But I keep finding cards from that set. I'm like, oh, this is super cool. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff in that set. It's just the way it was kind of put out into the world, unfortunately, was a little questionable, I think, for most of the Magic community.
I think a lot of people are going to say that about the Spider-Man set too. I'm just saying. Listen, hey.
Oh yeah, I actually have I have right here too. Kind of a cool card. Rent is due.
Yep.
One mana enchantment at the beginning of your end step. You may tap 2 untapped creatures and/or treasures you control. If you do, draw a card. Otherwise, sack this enchantment. So, not only are you getting in treasures for stealing your opponent's stuff, pretty sure you can stack this with the theft effects to where if you don't have good attacks, you can still steal stuff. Tap them for rent is due to draw a card.
Yep.
And before they get sent back. So, and you know what? A 1 mana enchantment, like, it's kind of one of those things where this feels like it maybe would have been should have been like a 2 mana or maybe even a 3 mana kind of thing.
Yep.
But it's like a weird. It's not the same, but it kind of reminds me of Authority of Councils in a lot way. Like a 1 mana enchantment you put down.
Yep.
And it kind of gives you the ability to kind of do stuff early. And generate value for not a big investment, right? Like this is something where if you get 2 or 3 cards out of this and you got to sack it, like you probably feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was one of it's funny you say that, like, if you don't have good attacks, like tap their creatures down. That never crossed my mind. It was just like, oh, I have all these treasures sitting around. And it's I can just get this crazy card advantage from just having these treasures. But that's actually a really good idea, because there are definitely times where you steal a creature and it's like, I don't have a good attack, and you just sit there with them and you're like, well, this is fun. We hang out, we high five, and then I send them back off home with a juice box.
There you go.
But yeah, no, that's an excellent thought for that. Reading cards explains cards. Yeah, because I never even put those two together. But yeah.
All right, I feel actually pretty good about this. Like, oh, maybe I do know something about this game a little bit.
Yeah,
just another card I saw that I'd never seen before. So Furbolg Flutist. Though I feel like Flautist is actually
Flautist.
The conjugate.
Yeah,
right? Isn't it Flaut? Anyways, 4 for red. The Giant Bard. I wonder if Thwarp knows about this card. It's a 4/4. And Thralling Performance. When Furbolg Flutist enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature you don't control until end of turn, untap it. It gains haste and Myriad till end of turn.
Myriad.
That was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like, being able to grab, and again, any creature, for 6 mana, whatever, but any creature, and then essentially getting 4, and is this, when it attacks, you may create a token. So anything with like a decent enter the battlefield effect, like, hey, here's 2 to 3 more copies depending on how many opponents you have.
Yeah. Crazy ETB effect, crazy like landfall effects where playing a land and you got 4 of these creatures around is really good. It's the myriad in this thing was what drew me to it. It's like, cool, I steal your thing, and not only do I get the cool thing, but now I'm going to get 3 more of them, which is great.
Yeah. And again, another one of those,
it's a fun card.
Yeah, 50 cent, like a 50-cent card. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the kind of card that at 6 mana, like that could probably win you games. That's like a lot of ways will you if you steal something big enough. Like, if someone has like a jumbo capture, well, here's everyone gets a jumbo capture coming at them. And they don't have blocks. Like, it's just kind of stuff like that. You find these cards. Like, again, never seen that card before, but like, that's super sweet in this deck.
Yeah. Like what other I mean, I guess that effect is good in general, but like what other deck is gonna like really want to run I can't say it either. Furbolg Flutist, whatever. Not many decks really want to like see this card. It fits into this deck perfectly.
Yep. Another super cool card that again I'd never seen before. Take the Bait. 2 red/white instant. Cast this spell only during an opponent's turn and only during combat. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control this turn. Untap all attacking creatures and goad them. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. this is like, talk about a blowout.
Yeah.
Someone's
Yep.
swinging at you with whatever, and just to be like, nope, actually, you're going to do no damage to me, no damage to my planeswalkers. I will untap all of your creatures, but now they have to attack someone else. Oh, and here's a forced combat. Like,
enjoy attacking everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I think this is from, looks like Murders at Karlov Commander, the Commander set.
Yep.
Murders again was, I think, a lot of, I'm finding more and more kind of sweet cards from the kind of the Murders at Karlov Manor, the Commander, and the normal set.
Yep.
Again, I think people kind of were just the complaints of it being a hat set, right? They just put fedoras on everybody and whatever. But no, there are some. I think people are kind of coming around. Like, no, there's a lot of, obviously the Surveil lands, but that aside, like, there is some cool stuff out there.
There's a lot of good clue synergy. Yeah, there's a lot of good clue synergies in that, especially the Bant precon. So if you're big into like any sort of clue decks, like Sophia Dogged Detective was an excellent backup commander for that deck. Like, I had a Sophia deck for a long time that just cared about dogs, which was really fun. That set definitely flew under the radar. The main set for me didn't really hit it, but the commander decks just knocked them out of the park. I thought all those decks had a lot of really good cards that like people slept on.
Yeah. So, in general, the deck, like, I have this up at the Show and Tell signature guest list. So pretty much any card that steals a creature from your opponent for the turn, and it's you get a clue token, you get a treasure token, you get gains haste. It's in this deck, right? They're all kind of in here. One card that I want to sing the praises that I think people should play more of, it's a Final Fantasy card that you have in here, is Phoenix Down. One mana artifact. You can where'd it go? 1 and a white, tap, exile this artifact, choose one, return target creature card with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, or you can exile target skeleton, spirit, or zombie. The ability, the 2 mana return 4 or less, that's huge. Like, that's such a good card. If you're playing a commander, a commander with 4 mana or less, like, to kind of get around a large commander tax, or just for 2 mana, like, I think is wild. I am surprised I don't see this card more often played. Obviously the flavor is on point. Traditionally Phoenix Down revives a fallen character in the game, and the benefit of since it brings someone back to life, it kills a undead creature. But just like I just think it was one of those cards, like, I'm surprised I do not see it often. I try to put it into every white deck I have that, especially if my commander is NLU 4 or less, because it's just like if you have kind of one of those commanders that scares people, it kind of helps you save, like, down the line, and you can do it at instant speed, right? This is an instant speed.
There's no time restriction.
Yeah, so just bravo. I say, just huge fan of that card.
It fit the theme with Final Fantasy. I shouldn't say the theme of like stealing things. It fit the Final Fantasy motif, right? Because this deck, obviously, I built when the Final Fantasy set first came out, so a lot of those Final Fantasy cards popped up in here. But Phoenix Down, it doesn't hit my commander, it doesn't hit Zidane, because he's 5 for the mana cost. But there are countless other creatures that I don't want to see dead, like Treasure Nabber. If Treasure Nabber dies, that's not, I want them back. Reckless Fireweaver is another one that if that dies, like, that's a pivotal part of the deck. So, if I can bring back my Reckless Fireweaver, or if I can bring back Stiltskin, that's another beater in this deck. Stiltskin is incredible. Stiltskin Mogul Merchant it's a 1 mana 1/2 Mogul with lifelink. You can pay 2 and tap it to give target opponent control of any permanent you own, and you draw a card. So, like, there was one game I was just giving people I had so many treasures. I wasn't doing anything with them. I had like barely any cards in hand, so I was just giving people treasures and then getting back treasures and drawing a card with Stiltskin. So Phoenix Down. There's a lot of cards. There's a lot of creatures in this deck that I don't want dead. And if they do die, I want to get them back. So Phoenix Down was just that, like, panic button. I get this back card. And then the flavor of being able to exile a skeleton, spirit, or zombie, that in Commander is more important than you think. A lot of people like to run zombie decks, or a lot of aristocrat decks have skeletons and spirits in them for the the combo pieces. So there's been more than once where I've been able to use this as a kill button too, which is great.
Yeah.
So.
You know, you bring up Skeleton too. Pretty powerful political piece, because I'm pretty sure if you steal something and then give it away with Stiltskin, your opponent doesn't get it back. Because I don't think as soon as you give it to someone else, I don't believe, because you don't control the creature anymore, it just stays with your opponent. So you could take creatures from one opponent and just reassign them to whoever you want.
And just give them like, I don't want you to have that Avenger of Zendikar anymore with all your plants. Here, someone else have it. Doesn't matter.
Talk about, again, a 1 mana, 1/2 lifelink, like a Moogle. Like, talk about wheeling and dealing. Great synergy for this sort of deck. So, all right. Let's go over to the one.
The one.
All right. So the one you have chosen for this deck is Eldrazi Displacer. 2 and a white for a 3/3 devoid. Card has no color. 2 and a colorless. Exile another target creature, then return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So why is this the one card you would never cut from this deck?
Yeah. So Zidane is interesting. So there's a lot of effects that steal creatures in this deck, right? A lot of the sorceries, a lot of the instants are, steal something till the end of turn. It's a one and done thing, right? Unless I have some way of getting them back to my hand, which I don't think. Eldrazi Displacer is, in my opinion, the better version of Conjurer's Closet and Teleportation Circle in here, right? It is more easily interacted with because it is a creature, but with Eldrazi Displacer, if I have the mana, I can just hit that blink button over and over and over again as many times as I need to. Blinking Zidane, stealing your things. So I think there's been more than one game where I've amassed a good amount of treasures. I don't have anything like a Reckless Fireweaver or something like that out, but I was able to, with the amount of creatures that were on board, I had Eldrazi Displacer and Zidane out, I was able to do it 6 or 7 times and steal everybody's creatures. And it was like a make your own insurrection, basically.
Yeah.
And then swing at everybody, because when you get the creature, you untap them and you get lifelink and they all have haste and all that stuff. So it doesn't matter if they're tapped, if they're summoning sick, doesn't matter. And you don't care about Zidane attacking or blocking. You're very rarely am I attacking or blocking with Zidane in this deck. So it doesn't matter if he's tapped from the Eldrazi Displacer. I can just keep hitting that button and stealing and stealing and stealing. And it's a fun, I don't know. I've loved Eldrazi Displacer since it came out in, I think it was like Oath of the Gatewatch when that card came out first.
Something like that, yeah.
And I just love finding ways to just mess with this card and blinking my own stuff. So when I was putting the deck together and I'm like trying to figure out all these fun little pieces, I was just going through my bulk cards and I found Eldrazi Displacer and I'm, it's like, oh, this blinks a thing. And I can, as long as I have the mana for it, I can do it as many times as I need to. And I'm like, all right, we'll see how it does. We'll play with it a few times, and if it doesn't do anything, whatever, we'll cut it. And it just, every game it's come out, it has been the deciding factor of me just stealing a bunch of stuff. And it just is invaluable. I've come to find that this card is invaluable in this deck. Again, it is squishy. It is easily messed with. But throw your boots on there, throw your lightning greaves, whatever you want to do, and you're golden. So it's an awesome card in this deck, and it's fun, and it just gives you an option to just repeatedly hit that blink to steal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, having redundancy for like the blink effects is always good. And again, another target for a Phoenix Down. If someone, as long as it's
exactly,
out,
yep,
Phoenix Down, and you're ready to go. So, awesome. I think that's a fantastic choice for what you're doing here. And just lastly, like any fun moments you have with this deck? Obviously, the Displacer kind of stories I can imagine, or just in terms of like your normal style of gameplay. Do you think this deck normally is kind of reflective of how you like to play, or is it kind of out of your normal wheelhouse, or what do you think? It's
funny. It's a little bit it's like 1 foot in my wheelhouse, right? I'm an Izzet player through and through. I love Izzet commander decks. I love slinging spells. I love winning outside of combat damage. So with this, it has its moments where you can win by combat, stealing creatures, and some of our own creatures are fairly big as well. But then it also has ways to win with Reckless Fireweaver. And there's actually a card that I put in here since probably I sent this to you. I didn't update the deck list, but it's another it's another red creature that when one or more artifacts enter, it deals that much damage to each opponent. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's going to drive me crazy. But like things like that, where it's like I can play the spells to steal stuff, to give it back, to make treasures, that then deals damage to everybody. So there's a way for me to kind of be tricky and have my fun with spells, but then there's also ways for me to swing in and attack and do some big damage. So I think this is becoming more and more reflective of my play style. I just built, like I was saying earlier, I just built Boomy Unleashed from Avatar, and that's another similar where there's like it's a lot of big beefy creatures that are hitting, but then there's some fun spell, earthbending spell synergies and ways for me to get tricky with spells to do damage and stuff like that. So I'm finding this cohesion of, which seems silly to say, like, oh yeah, attacking and spells, that's all of what Magic is. But like I was very much in the camp of like my Vivi deck is bonkers. Like it's all spells and damage through casting spells, 0 combat damage. And now it's like I'm slowly shifting a little bit more towards the center of like I like kind of having these beefy creatures that can punch people in the face for lots of damage. That's fun. So yeah, it's definitely indicative of kind of my play style in the last, I would say, 6 months. So
that's funny. It made me think, you've ever seen it, like that bell curve, and it's like very new players, Magic's just attacking against spells, and like it goes up, it's like, no, there's more to Magic than that, but then it goes back down. It's like, no, Magic is just attacking against spells, but it's as you've kind of played with it, but it's like it's deeper. It's not, it's that's too funny. So well, Corey, thank you so much for sitting down and talking Zidane, Final Fantasy, fantastic set. I always love talking, especially the Final Fantasy Commanders. Big Final Fantasy guy myself. So yeah, I will have this, like I said, put up on the Show and Tell signature Moxfield guest list site. Not sponsored, but Moxfield has just been a great place to host deck lists, find inspiration for decks. Just a really great resource. And Corey, thanks again for joining me. And if you are listening and like what you've seen, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time.